there, we are the Tin Can Twosome, and I want to welcome you to our 1958 New Moon trailer, which we got 5 years ago, and we've been remodeling it ever since. We love to find old things, tin cans, and make them into something beautiful.
That's right. My name is Wendy, this is my husband David, and we have been married just about forever. And a few years ago we started camping and we decided that we absolutely loved it. And we just happened to find this wonderful trailer, which is a 38-foot trailer from the
1958.
From the 1950s. And we just fell in love with it. It's turquoise and white, and those are kind of our favorite colors. And we bought it almost instantly, and we have been enjoying it ever since.
We call ourselves the Tin Can Twosome because these trailers are like tin cans. We've got a 1965 Scotsman also, which we've been working on, and we love to go traveling with that. We just got back from Utah a few weeks ago, and pretty soon we're going to be heading off to Death Valley with our 1965 tin can. Now you might think, why do we call it a tin can? Because old trailers are like a canned ham. They've got flat sides and sometimes sort of curvy shape to them. And our 1965 Scotsman looks like a canned ham. So we're basically the Tin Can Twosome.
That's right. And we've gone a lot of places with it so far. One of our favorites is Joshua Tree. We had a great time camping there at Jumbo Rocks Campground, which is one of the best ever. And we recently went to Mount Laguna, and we've been to a lot of other places, but we're not done yet.
And we would love to take you along on our trips if you'd like to. Sort of vicarious travel. And I am a hopeless, incurable tour guide. I love to show people things, and that's the main reason we're doing this, because we want to show you some of the best things that we see.
However, this year has changed things quite a bit, and we have decided to see more of the U.S. And there is more than enough to take up the rest of our days.
We are so blessed to live in the western United States. Just a couple hours from our home, we can be high in the mountains, or we can be in the desert, and of course we can get to the beach in a few minutes. So we have so much to see, we'll never see it all. We really hope that you will subscribe to our brand new channel, Tin Can Twosome. Hit the subscribe button, it's free, costs you nothing, and also the notifications bell, and that way every time we do a new film, you will be told about it, and then you can just follow along. You can do it from the comfort of your couch.
It's a big and beautiful world out there, and we want to see all of it. And we want to take you along for the ride.
Wendy is the queen of life hacks. And there are special life hacks that help you with travel.
That's true.
So if you're looking for tips and tricks and different places to travel to and ideas about where to go, put those in the comments, and we would love to hear from you, and we will let you know what we find out. The more we share this with the more people, the happier we're going to be, because we are at the point in our lives where we really want to share what's out there. And this is a beautiful country that God has blessed us with. It seems like every time we go camping, we decide, let's not do this anymore and let's do more of something else. And so it's a learning process every time we go. We first went camping 40 years ago, and we've learned a lot of things along the way that are very, very helpful. If you don't go camping very often, it's easy to forget the things that you've learned. And we have learned that you have to go at least every few weeks or a couple of months or every few months. Otherwise, you start going backwards in your camping technology and ability to do things.
That's true, because it's really easy to forget. In fact, it's not a bad idea to have a bit of a notebook or, put it on your computer. Have lists. I have packing to go camping lists. I have food to go camping lists. I have lists of camp meals to prepare, even grocery lists that I need for the trip. Not that it's all about food, of course, but there's lots and lots of supplies that you're going to want to have with you, including your technological supplies. So it's a really good idea to make some lists and plan ahead of time.
Very soon we're going to be putting out Tin Can Twosome merchandise, and when we put that out there, you can wear your t-shirts, and we might run into you at one of these parks. One of our fondest wishes is that we can run into you when we're camping. We find that the people who go camping are actually a little bit more friendly than your average person, because they're out there, they're adventurous, they're looking for things, they're always from somewhere else. And when you go to a campground, nobody's been there for years. They've been there just for a few weeks. They've come from somewhere else. They've learned something else. They have got interesting things to say and stories to tell around around the campfire.
And that's another thing. Having a campfire at night is one of the most cozy things you can do. We just love to take our little solo stove out there and light a fire and sit around, play a little music, maybe use our little headlights or our little lights we have around our necks and read our books and just enjoy maybe a glass of wine, or maybe in the morning when we get up, we love to have a good cup of hot, strong coffee to start the day off. And there's nothing nicer than sitting out there with your cup of coffee and watching the wildlife, listening to the birds. Out in the desert, sometimes you hear the coyotes yipping, and the hummingbirds come and buzz your head. It's really fun. So being outside is just one of the greatest pleasures.
We'd also like to show you ways to mix working and camping, because if you're not totally retired yet, and we're not certainly, you need to find ways of contributing to the world while you're out there. I work at a church, I also work in higher education, and I do a lot of other things, and there's so much that I can do online that I couldn't have done 5 years ago.
And according to statistics, over 5 million Americans are now digital nomads, which means that they actually work from their RVs and they travel as they work. Well, we're not to that point yet, but we can do it part-time. And we are so looking forward to the day that we can do it full-time. But in the meantime, it can still be done. Don't think that because you're not retired that you can't do any of this, because you certainly can.
Even if you've got a real important full-time job, on weekends, you can start going for hikes, short camping trips, getting outdoors. It's so very important. The Bible tells us we need to take a Sabbath, and if we don't, the Sabbath will take you, and we end up getting sick, tired, depressed, all of those things. So it's so important to recreate, to take part in recreation on a regular weekly basis.
When David and I started camping, it was a little over 5 years ago, and we found that not only did our mood improve, but our marriage improved and our lives improved, and we just felt a whole lot more cheerful going through the weeks. So it was one of the best moves we have ever made, and investing in a trailer was just an exceptionally good move for us as a couple, and we've never regretted it, and we always look forward to our next trip. We're always really excited when it's time to go.
Now, if you're looking for fancy traveling and glamping, this is not the place to be. Wendy and I are not fancy people. We just like things to work really well, and we like things to be nice and clean and orderly. And we're not looking to show off our trailer at trailer shows or things like that, or vintage shows. We're out there to experience nature and get out there and see things. We're not fancy people. We've spent some time in some really nice resorts, and the truth is we don't like them. We'd much rather go to a state park campground with a fire ring and go for some hikes around there and take some pictures.
Yeah, that's really true. We are not fancy people. We like ordinary people. We like to do ordinary things, and we like to get out and see what's out there in this beautiful world. So yeah, we don't dislike resorts per se, but we'd really much rather be in a campground somewhere, or even boondocking. That's something that we are going to attempt very soon, and I have a feeling we're going to love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when it comes to retirement, it used to be that people would work for a certain amount of years and they would stop working and get a gold watch and then they'd be retired. But for most of us now, it's more of a gradual thing. It could be 5 to 15 years of a little bit less structured work and a little bit more travel. And a lot of us find ourselves in that sort of position right now, where really freedom is more important to us than money. And having freedom over our time and freedom geographically are two of the very most important things for those of us who are deep in the second half of life.
That's right. And we want to make the best of the years we have to enjoy and to travel and to meet new people and see new places. So this is something that we hope to do for the rest of our lives.